Okay, breaking down Friday, the 7th of April, and also the weekend review. And so the SPY ETF has been in a long-term uptrend, still intact, as demonstrated by higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. The right side of the chart is higher than the left side. It's above the 50-day moving average, upward sloping 50-day, 200-day moving average. So a lot of different ways you could define an uptrend. Intermediately, since this exhaustion gap day, which has kind of been going sideways in this range, so from this wide range day through this prior support level, just sideways in quote the shadow of that. Since then, we've got about 6 or 7 like overlapping days right around the midline. So last couple days are narrow range inside days. Friday being a narrow range doji right at the midline. So could expect a breakout day potentially on this upcoming Monday to pick a direction. Also of note, believe the Syria bombing happened on Friday, so the market kind of shrugged off some negative news. So that's usually a bullish sentiment when a big headline doesn't affect the market negatively. Okay, talk about pre-market movers. We had JDust. JDust, was a gold ETF. Bigger pictures in the long term, downtrend or sideways. Intermediately is kind of going sideways in a about a month's range here, about at least about 15 days range. So we opened up within this range, so I just didn't want to fuck with it because there really was no like setup. I just kind of opened in the middle of the range. The other setup was with the other pre-market mover CBio, and once again we're just kind of opening in all this gunk down here. This biotech, former runner in a long-term downtrend, just kind of was in play on the volume spike from this day on the 28th, and had immediately got pumped and dumped. It was just kind of back in here, so there was a lot of volume that came in the pre-market, but once again, not what I was looking for. So ALF being the other one that was in place, so ALF is biotech as well, long-term sideways. They caught volume, intermediate uptrend with a pullback. But could be a potential lower high. Should be going sideways right around the midline. We'll talk about this trade in a bit as I review my trades. So, kind of had these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 overlapping days. So we got to the bottoms, thinking breakout here, and as we open back in here, I was kind of thinking sushi roll. So, I'll go back into that once I review the trades. Some other good trades from today were AKTX Biotech has been in play just from the volume alone. Long term, it means like some days doing like 300 shares, like zero volume. So then we get a long term nothing, and then a volume spike comes in on this Friday. So recently in play on volume. Had a couple narrow range days, and the pre-market was good on this day that led to this breakout. So we closed way down off the highs in the prior day from a prior resistance level, but coming in on the 1-minute chart, even though we are in the prior day's range, once we get above the opening range high, this is like more of a play into the close, but there's volume starts coming back in. There's really good supporting volume on this move, so really above average volume after kind of just going dead throughout the day. Something's happening here, and there's the window that you're talking about. So price goes up, prior intraday resistance becomes support. That would have been a nice entry, and then add on the pop and right into the close. So not a bad trade in AKTX. The other good trade was AKRX, which is healthcare. So healthcare sector is definitely in play lately. Big picture here is long-term sideways. I mean, it's up, it's down. Doesn't really know where it's at. Same price as it was 52 weeks ago. Do kind of have a level right here. It's like maybe prior resistance level, call that. And so we broke. Volume. It's been in play due to volume the past few days. Above average volume in this day, intermediately, we have been making an uptrend, swinging higher highs, higher lows, higher high, higher low, higher high, right? So here's another potential higher low. So as we kind of break on this day, we break up to make a new higher high. We open up. I don't know where the pre-market went because we're already in the after hours, but here's a good spot where opens up, goes up. So want to be cautious and wait. Put that line right at the kind of intraday resistance level. So if we do that, kind of making a little resistance level here, like higher highs, higher lows. So we come back in to go to the bigger 1 minute. Would have been a nice prior resistance becomes support entry. So you could have added here, or put the trade on when this prior resistance became support here, or any of these higher lows. I mean, this is of course like a really skewed chart because this is an unusual results. I don't know if some news or something came out in it, but definitely something just still an in-play stock and an in-play sector. In the recent uptrend, so you got a lot of things going for you, but it just shows that it pays to wait for your entry. Okay, so just talking about my weekend review, why I traded so poorly. I think I had one winning trade in the entire week, which is not very common for me personally. I mean, I'm definitely a losing trader right now. I'm certainly a non-profitable trader, and questioning whether I physically can continue to trade because I don't know if I'm emotionally stable enough to handle it. I don't know if I can do it, and not everybody can make it. So just as objectively observing something, I can't get emotionally invested in myself. I just kind of have to look at what's been going on to say, hey, if maybe I just can't do it. I'm not cut out for it, but I'm not ready to throw in the towel yet. But it's definitely, getting to the real point of where I'm certainly questioning my ability on whether I'm capable of just following simple instructions. I don't know. So, why did I start the week so poorly? Kite, and we're going to see a lot of daily charts here. So Kite, I had a good idea of it gapping up into this prior resistance. So, I was thinking prior resistance, but I don't trade gap days well. So that's number one right there. HTGM was actually my only winning trade of the week. So shorting this Monday as price broke a prior support level. So, I mean, hey, I got a shorted below a prior support level and I had a winning trade. Not by much, but I mean, it was still a winning trade. So imagine that, this is a B trade at the best, so there's really no and this is the part where I got a potential higher or lower high, so maybe we'd be making a lower low here, but it's really down through here. So this is a B trade at best. Same day LL, missing LL on this Friday, and then chasing it after the move had already happened on Monday. So I had a losing trade. This is definitely way up there. Just kind of looking at the setup for coming in today. So it's definitely my number one idea coming in. But we'll talk about that in a second. So LL chasing fuel, same deal. Got the failure tested all-time highs, and I chased it. I was shorting probably the low of the day. So that's twice I chased a move, and that's it's either greed or it's fear of missing out, or it's some bullshit to where I feel poor me, I didn't get involved in the move that I missed, and so I decide to, because I miss it, I'm gonna punish myself by losing more money. So I miss making money, so I decided that the action is to lose money. I don't know. Okay, so that was Monday. Tuesday, Omer. The setup here is all right, but it was just kind of thinking flagging, just kind of after this volume day, it's kind of holding sideways. But the 52-week resistance level, was failed at three times before. Was sitting right there, so I'm buying right under resistance. So that happened to me a few times this week as well. Facebook Tuesday, trading in the prior day's range. Fuel, thinking after wide range day is probably an 80-20. It's most likely, so try to get short, short after a wide range day without a lot of evidence. And then AOI, shorted this day, but once again, what's my setup? There's really no setup. Maybe breaking these couple days lows. I didn't have a good entry, so I had a losing day. I had weakness in the background, maybe breaking the past 5 days low, so I mean it's something that's better than some other bullshit I've been trading, but still not an A+ thing. Back to AOI on Wednesday, on this wide range day, instead of having a good entry and a trade, I'm shorting over here, like making up entries, and instead of just waiting patiently, after we go down quickly right off the open, if I just wait, and I get a really nice prior support, becomes resistance entry right in here. But losing trade in a wide range day sucks. So hand me tomorrow's newspaper, I'm still going to lose money, right? Apple, what's the setup here? There wasn't one. We're losing steam as we're getting to the all-time high. It's not really a setup on this day, so I wonder why I was also buying within the opening range. So bad trade there. NKTR. Now I'm shorting on this day, but it's right in this prior support level. So I'm shorting at support 1, 2. Like, really, what's my setup? There's really no setup. That's the bigger idea, is there's no setup. 3. I think I'm making up an entry in ALF here, so let's think we're going sideways for 5-7 days. So the setup is there. Actually, we got a bunch of overlapping days at the midline, which leads to a breakout. So we open within the range and go down, break the range. So I'm thinking we could go lower, but there's no entry in here. There's just this grindy action. There's like nothing, just drifty. There's no clear price swings. There's no windows. There's no entries, and I'm taking any of these little pops and just lying to myself and telling myself that that's an entry where realistically it is not. So bad trade. Just seeing what I want to see, and that's not that still so biased to these setups instead of having a fluid, open mind about what price action is doing. I think of what it should do. Fuel, a couple overlapping days. I don't think this was a terrible trade. Like, maybe you said it was a piss poor trade on this day, but I don't see it. We are actually have clean swings. So get in on a pop, somewhere in here or something like that, and then I fucked up because I didn't exit. We get this bar close way up off the lows. I mean, that's a clear sign to get out, at least for a small winner, if not for break-even trade. So, I don't know. We got weakness in the background on the daily and a penny stock, so looking for the backside in this move, and had a hard rejection below support, like intermediate support here. I thought it was Covel trade. I thought it was a good trade, but if you said it was shit, I'd love to hear why. Exit was shitty, for sure. So anyway, coming into talk about Friday's trades, Momo, Momo's tech, and we're at all-time highs, going sideways, looking like a little three-phasey, trying to break out. Every time we try to break out to all-time highs, we close back lower. So of course, my genius ass wants to buy above these highs after coming off a wide range day on below average volume into prior resistance. So they're buying under prior resistance level. What's my intraday? I don't know. Nothing. I mean, it's stupid. Just this is not an entry. This is made up entries and in a made up setup. So this big choppy sloppy range, and there's going to be no good trades that happen until we really break that range. So there's really no reason to even have Momo, on the trading radar. ALF, having a losing trade this day. So just talk about checks in their favor. You know, 7-day sideways, breakdown lower for the other end of the range. You know, at the midline, compressing at the midline. We were active in pre-market. Um, one of the top pre-market movers. So you know, we open up, but we kind of U down. And you know, my idea is sushi roll, so we should be going to the other side of the range, right? So so far so good, right? Everything is kind of conducive to this being a good trade. U down, flip VWAP. You know, we get to the open and volume's good on the move back up, so we get holding back above the open or holding at the open, and this is where I start to get biased again, and it's a very different story if this volume breaks out and continues to go and makes the window and comes back and trades back here, but that's certainly not what happened. This is definitely supply coming in, the sellers coming to step in at this like 25 cents level. I'm just over and over and over and over and over again, and it's completely obvious now that I see it, but there certainly was no strength there. So I took a lot of good things, a lot of pieces that and then I started to see what I wanted to see instead of just seeing what was happening. So I had a losing trade here because I'm not being a fluid thinker. So this goes to show you have like everything in a row setting up for you, but you still have to wait for the proper entry. And yeah, the idea is a sushi roll, so we're coming above the prior day's high. We're still in this range, but it is that we didn't break out here, so we should break out the other side. So anyway, for all the reasons stated above, this is still in play. We got alerts at the prior day's high and low. The volume increased on this day. We got a doji at the midline. So it's trying to figure out which way it wants to break out. I'm thinking since it didn't break out to the downside on Thursday that, maybe it'll go to the upside, but I don't want to get caught in that trap again. I'm staying fluid. Staying open. Same token. Shop, tech. Long-term uptrend still intact. Higher highs, higher lows. Upward sloping 50 period moving average and 200-day moving average. Intermediately, we have failed at all-time highs and grinded back up, but then rejected back at the same kind of price level, and then been going sideways for the past 6 days. So, got alert set at 70 and 67 for the breakout. Tesla, 4 days, so long-term uptrend, or at 52-week highs. Recently had the big swing uptrend. But we are in 4 days overlapping, so just looking for a breakout above 304.50 or 294. And then AAOI, semiconductors, tech sector, looking like we were at 52-week highs, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. We got this gap day, had a nice pullback to the midline. But since we tested the last time at all-time highs, definite change of character swing back through the midline. So now we've got 2 kind of sideways overlapping days, narrow range days, and still kind of within this range of the wide range day. So looking for a continuation and breakout to the downside. Wouldn't really consider a long here. And then last but not least is LL. So call it slight uptrend to sideways on the long term intermediately, high volume day on a potential breakaway gap. We break out to 52-week highs on this day and continue strongly on volume. Now we're compressing at 52-week highs, 3 overlapping days, 3-bar triangle, whatever, what have you, bull flag, fucking whatever, just overlapping, setting up a potential breakout. So it's kind of looking for this to pick a direction, but a lot of pieces of evidence are suggesting that this is innocent till proven guilty, being in a long-term uptrend, and especially if the market catches, starts grinding up too, this could be also support this going up. So LL is definitely my number 1 idea. Number 2 would be ALF because of the volume. Number 3 would be Tesla. And then number 4, AAOI, and then I just have my alert set in shop. So, it's getting to the point where I question my ability to trade, whether I think I can do this. It's probably the worst week I've had since I blew up my account. And it feels very similar to that, What happened? I had some success. You praised me and said that I was improving. And that has been a fucking crippling thing to me. I just wish you'd never ever tell me I do good ever again, because I eat shit every single time. I get a big head. I have a fucking enormous ego, and I can't part with it, or I refuse to part with it. I can't put it aside just to become a profitable trader, and it's really fucking frustrating because put so much time into this, and it's like I don't want it to be wasted time, but if I just can't fucking do it, then I can't fucking do it. So I don't know. Anyway, I got the setups today. Give it a few more weeks, and if not, just take my fucking money I saved and have a good time when I'm visiting the States. So I don't know, man. It's getting to the point where I might throw on the fucking towel, but I'm gonna give it at least one last go. Later.